Apple MacBook Pro M1 Max, and surprise, MacBook Pro M1 Max. Both have exactly the same hardware configuration, 64 gigs of unified memory, 32 GPU cores, 10-core CPU, and same 1 TB of storage. The only difference is in size, 16-inch versus 14-inch. Do you think they perform identical? You'll be surprised, same as I was when I saw how huge difference is between these two Apple Silicon MacBooks with the M1 Max SoC. I spent the last few weeks deeply testing the whole current Apple Silicon lineup, all available MacBooks from the MacBook Air M1 to M1 Max, 2019 Mac Pro, and also for fun, currently fastest Hackintosh with the Intel i9 12900K, and the Mac Studio, the base model, and also the M1 Ultra one, all in various areas, mostly in video editing performance, 3D rendering. I will also show you some benchmarks, including unusual ones, like the memory throughput or Affinity Photo editing. So if you don't want to miss comparison of all those MacBooks and Macs, make sure to subscribe to my channel and enable all notifications. So, are you ready? Let's go! So, both MacBook Pros are in specs identical, differs only in size. 14-inch MacBook Pro M1 Max is $3,700 and the 16 M1 Max is $3,900. So not big of a difference in price, but huge in performance. Just wait. I will quickly show you some synthetic benchmarks so you can see on paper. They should have really identical performance, but it will not project into real life performance, which I will show you later. So, let's start with 3D production. In SideFX Houdini, the viewport performance blew me away. It was better than on the $5,000 Radeon Pro W6800X Duo Monster in my 2019 Mac Pro. I also ran the Redshift built-in benchmark, where the 14-inch and the 16-inch M1 Max MacBook Pro render time was almost identical. 638 seconds versus 635 seconds. So far so good, right? Just wait. Geekbench single and multi-core performance is also the same. 1784 versus 1781 points in single core, 12,609 versus 12,736 in multi-core. In Cinebench 10-minute multi-core tests, we see first slight difference. 11,779 versus 12,244. So the 16-inch M1 Max MacBook Pro was 4% more powerful. Affinity Photo benchmark shows again almost identical scores. Single core 523 versus 530. Multi-CPU 3215 versus 3305. Single GPU 32653 versus 32138. Again, almost identical scores. Affinity developers measured the performance of these M1 Max MacBooks and find out them as the most powerful chips for photo editing of all times. What about memory throughput? In 6 memory benchmarks I read, there is absolutely no difference, not a single one. Again, all absolutely identical. Maximum throughput was 250 gigabytes per second. So for sure, these MacBooks demolish any desktop PC with 3 to 4 times higher memory throughput than even the latest DDR5 modules. What about, let's say, DaVinci Resolve Blackmagic RAW test? Oh man, again, absolutely identical. M1 Max 14 and 16-inch MacBooks are able to handle 29 FPS on the CPU and 200 FPS on GPU, measured on 8K 12:1 compressed BM-RAW. I also ran the Candle benchmark test, which you can download from this video description. 6 TRN nodes, same story, 22 FPS on the 14-inch M1 Max versus 23 FPS on the 16-inch M1 Max. In 66 blur nodes, the 14-inch handled 6 FPS, but now hold tight, the 16-inch handled 13 FPS, so more than double the score of the 14-inch M1 Max. Now it's getting even more interesting. Where is the catch? Let me continue. DaVinci Resolve, 1 minute, 40 seconds long project of 8K RAW footage, export to 4K Apple ProRes 422 HQ, 14-inch M1 Max finished in 166 seconds. 16-inch M1 Max, 165 seconds. So no difference here. Same RED RAW project, export to 4K H.265, took 168 seconds on the 14-inch M1 Max and 165 on the 16-inch M1 Max. So again, same results. But now let's have a look at Canon R5 footage export times. 36 seconds long project of 8K R5 RAW footage rendered to 4K ProRes 422 HQ on 14-inch M1 Max took 96 seconds, while on the 16-inch M1 Max only 69 seconds. So 16-inch M1 Max was 39% faster. Same R5 project rendered to 4K H.265 on 14-inch M1 Max took 91 seconds, while on the 16-inch M1 Max only 67 seconds. So 16-inch M1 Max was 36% faster. Let's move on to DaVinci Resolve project with mixed footage, various codecs like Blackmagic 6K RAW, 4K H.264 and 5 HEVC files, 4K ProRes files, EXR sequences. Simply 22 minutes, 19 seconds long project was rendered to 4K ProRes 422 HQ on the 14-inch M1 Max in 887 seconds. But again, the 16-inch M1 Max was much faster, rendered in just 546 seconds. So the 16-inch was 62% faster. Oh my lord. Same project rendered to 4K H.265 on 14-inch M1 Max took 957 seconds, while on the 16-inch M1 Max only 446 seconds. So the 16-inch M1 Max was 115% faster. What is going on here? So, what about project which consists only from H.265 source files? 43 minutes long project exported to 4K ProRes 422 HQ. The 14-inch M1 Max finished in 397 seconds. The 16-inch M1 Max in just 353 seconds, so 12% faster. Same project exported to H.265 surprisingly won the 14-inch M1 Max with 681 seconds render time, while the 16-inch M1 Max finished in 709 seconds. Okay, so what about those who do 4K HDR video production as me? Analyzing over 2 hours of 4K HDR footage took on the 14-inch M1 Max 2037 seconds, while on the 16-inch M1 Max only 1206 seconds, almost half the time. So the 16-inch is here 69% faster. So where is the problem? As always with Apple, problem is overheating issue. The M1 Max Apple Silicon is extremely efficient CPU, that's without debate. But that doesn't mean it's still not hot as hell. So when it's inside of just the 14-inch small form factor, there is no surprise it's gonna overheat. So in short-term load, like I showed in the benchmarks on the beginning of this video, these two MacBooks perform the same. But if you will do some workload which takes longer, the 14-inch M1 Max will start to throttle down its frequency much sooner than the 16-inch M1 Max. Apple is not shy to let those M1 Max CPUs run over 100 degrees of Celsius. Quite often I saw spikes to 105°C. Smaller fans inside of the 14-inch M1 Max can be very loud. During my longer exports, I measured 49.7 decibels with fan at 6,295 RPM, while the 16-inch M1 Max never crossed 3,724 RPM and 43.5 decibels. So you may think when the 14-inch runs at 6,300 RPM and the 16-inch only at 3,700 RPM, then the 14-inch will be louder, right? Well, not really. The 16-inch has bigger fans, so when you would push it to max RPM, it would be louder than the 14-inch. So, the 14-inch M1 Max and the 16-inch M1 Max perform the same in short burst tasks. But if your workload takes longer, there can be even more than 100% difference between these two M1 Max MacBooks. And when I count also the negligible price difference, only $200 between those two, then getting the 16-inch M1 Max over the 14-inch M1 Max is simply a wise decision. As I mentioned on the beginning, I made all of these tests on almost the whole current Apple Silicon lineup. Also on the MacBook Air M1, 14-inch base model M1 Pro, fully loaded 2019 Mac Pro, Intel i9 12900K Hackintosh, and also the Mac Studio base model and M1 Ultra models. So, if you would want to see comparison between all of these machines, subscribe to my channel and enable all notifications. And if you would need any help with your Apple Mac, Windows or Linux computer, I offer 101 video calls and remote sessions to your computer on my Patreon and my morgonaut.cloud website. Links are in this video description. You can simply book a live meeting with me in just a few clicks. So, take care and see you next time, my Macintosh friends.